Welcome back. It is week 5 on my road to Busselton. So I've been doing a weekly video, recording and I guess charting my road to Busselton, the full distance Ironman event. There are some other events along the way, 2 in particular coming up reasonably soon, a standard distance and then Sunshine Coast 70.3 in September. So it's build week 1. So we're at the end of build week 1. The week before that was recovery week. So we find a process of usually 3 weeks and then a recovery week and repeat, but varying the training intensities and so forth. So my set questions are in front of me, and how am I feeling? Well, I think an 8 out of 10. It's been a challenging week for anyone who missed last week. Currently, we're on a work project whereby we're staying at the facility 24 hours and our shifts are around the 12-hour mark. And I don't mean 10 and change, 11 and change, they're always 12 and change. So that's challenging. At least there's no drive home, no doing things at home. You very much finish your shift. Hopefully there's no hang around, get to your room, clean up and sleep. Or of course not sleep if that's what you want to do. Of course for me that's super important because that's recovery time. So yeah, how am I feeling? 8 out of 10. Enjoyed the week mostly. There were some challenges, but there was some recovery and I was looking to maximize as much as possible. So 8 out of 10. Training distances. So this week, 12k on swimming, which I'm pretty happy with. We've been well under that. But yeah, 12k this week. The bike, now I've been doing this with 0 emissions or close as possible. So there's been a lot of commuting, which usually puts us over 300. So this week was no commuting because of the work situation, and it was 203. So that's all bike trainer distances, so 203 kilometers. Now the run is basically more than double last week, which is 55k. So very happy with that and feeling pretty okay in the body about it too. So that's a good situation there, and probably also leaning towards why probably feeling about 8 out of 10 at the moment, which is good. Weight, it's been usual between 82 to 83 and a half, but I'm going to say 82 and a half this week more so. So things I've learnt. Now, probably nothing overly new this particular week, but maybe it's been a make sure you adapt your training to your life circumstances. Obviously knew that well and truly before, but this week being that particular special work situation, I've had to very much adapt my training, and then of course then there's recovery when you're not training, all in those periods when you have an opportunity. So recognize it and use those recovery times. We're at the halfway for the project, so if all targets are met, next Friday it will be completed, and we'll either be doing finished cleanup, or maybe some more cleanup to do. To me this week has been very much about you recognizing recovery opportunities and actually using them. Don't waste them. So for example, there was one time when I finished at 10 and I actually got to leave at 10:05. So that was rare, and that was a big celebration on the inside for me because I went straight to the shower and then straight to bed. So I really was able to maximize the next day. All right, injuries and niggles. So I mentioned last week that my right calf was tight. So that's gone. That's certainly all good. That hasn't returned, so very happy with that. So, but the thing that I guess we have to say is a niggle at the moment is still the Achilles tendonitis in the right heel. Now, that's still around, and as I mentioned, you can't ignore it and just hope it's going to go away. If you're able to recognize that, you've got to know this one is just not a ignore it. So I've been doing, I'd say, a minimal amount of rehab, and I need to turn that during the next 2 weeks to a significant focus on the appropriate exercises, which are, I keep forgetting the word for it, but it's like calf raises, but you just do it on the floor, and it's both legs or ankles that you raise, and then of course one at a time, and you do need to do the other side as well as the affected side. So yeah, I'm going to really focus that in particular over the next 2 weeks, and it will be particularly easy when the work project is over, but there's still opportunities there. So it's just about being mindful and actually doing it rather than talking about it. Achievements and failures. So failure. Now, I actually travelled this weekend, and I'm still in that travel situation. Saturday was not possible to train. There were personal things going on, so I suspected that may happen. So I moved my long ride to the Friday. Now, knowing that everything's on the trainer at the moment with this work situation, I was able to get a very good long ride in. But of course, that meant that the trainer session on Friday, which is pre-fatigue for the Saturday long session, had to disappear. So I failed to complete that. That was work circumstances, but that's a failure. We adapted, but still it's in that category. Now, the achievement was that actual long trainer session, which, as I mentioned, was Friday morning, was 3 hours 45 minutes. Now, I struggle to get to the 3 hour mark on the trainer. So I'm very happy I was able to get to 3 hours 45, and I didn't feel like picking the bike up and throwing it. So I was very happy with that. And I ran for an hour after that on the road. No hills, so it's a pancake run, but it felt very good. So it means I fueled well and performed well. So that's always a good result if you can run off and do it well, because as I may have mentioned before, your trainer minutes are worth up to 1.5 minutes outside on the road. So, for example, ride for 90 minutes, it's worth easy 2 to 3 hours. So that's possibly equivalent to up to 5 hours on the road. So very happy with that. A failure, I missed a core body session. That was a 40-minute stretching and body weight exercise session, just because of timing. So not happy about that, but I was at peace with it. So yeah, we'll try and make sure we don't miss that. The other achievement that I have in my list for this week is that my long run, which was 2 hours, that was actually this morning, was at a very good low heart rate. If you can't keep the heart rate low in those long runs, it's not a long, slow run. And the benefits in the mitochondria and other parts of the body, you won't achieve that if your heart rate is going into zone 3 and above. So it's definitely in zone 1 for most of it, so under 140 beats per minute. And there was a minor percentage above 140 to about 145. So yeah, very happy with that. That's a good result and a very good average pace. I'll mention it was average of 5 minutes 15 seconds, so pretty happy with that. Conditions were very cool, so that's the other part of the ingredient that will provide that situation. So the training week ahead. Now, I would say the main focus that I'm looking forward to, not only because of how the training's been scheduled, but also because I look forward to these particular practice for race sessions, is Saturday morning is a 5-hour ride and then 2 hours run off. Now that's a huge session, that's 7 hours of course. Now I don't know the effort levels, but that'll be populated by my coach. So as I look through the week, I see some moderate and moderate high, much shorter sessions. So it'll be a case of just getting through those well and not overcooking them, so that you set yourself up for success on the Saturday morning. So obviously if work does finish up as I'm hoping, then there will be the opportunity to actually do it. Otherwise, it'll be similar or less than yesterday, was the Saturday's. Actually, like I said, it was Friday, but the session that happened this week, which is the long ride and the run. So really looking forward to that. That's the main event of this week. So get everything else done well, get through them, recover well, and I'm believing that I'll set myself up for a good session on Saturday. So that's everything for this week. If you want to see my data on Garmin, send me a request. Happy to share that with you. Any questions and comments, feel free to post them. And I will see you next week, which will be the end of Build Week 2. Thanks for watching.